Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lace Out's Round 1 2022 review. What a cracking weekend of football, everybody, and we're wrapped to have you back. Our fifth season. It is going to be big. It is going to be huge. It is going to be packed tighter than my co-host's Lycra when he's going for his 60k rides. For everybody joining us again, thank you to all our Lace Outlaws. We can't have a show without you. And if you're joining us for the first time, I'm your host, Chris Pepper, the 377 game superstar of the East Keeler Football Club and mad Melbourne man. But just like I've said before, and you may not have heard it if it's your first time, there's Tango and Cash, there's Torval and Dean, and I've got Roller Girl and Dirk Diggler, and I'm Dirk, and my roller girl, Jamie the J-Dog Wallace. He loves his Port Adelaide. He can't stand Ken Hinkley, and he was ranked number 9 for Iron Man in the world one day. And he is the co-host for the most, and we're wrapped to have him back again. How are you, big fella? And commiserations for another letdown on the weekend.
I'm only here so I don't get fined.
It's all right. Footy's back, mate. How good is it to have the footy back? Tell me you're not excited, Dogger.
Well,
Tell me you're not excited.
It's weird. It was a weird. I felt weird having TV back on. I mean, say TV back on, footy back on the TV. I've spent a whole summer, reveling in England's loss. I've been watching a bit of the tennis, a bit of the Winter Olympics, and just to feel like it's been non-stop sport, and we're back again.
Mate, we're back again. We're back again. And I'll tell you what, this game is going to have more life in 1 hour than the test series has had in 3 tests over there in Pakistan. What an absolute snooze fest that has been. But we're not here to talk cricket. We're here to share the wonderful world of AFL football with all of our Lace Outlaws out there, the greatest football community out there supporting us for 5 years. And geez, we love every single one of you.
All right.
How'd you see the weekend, mate? How did you see it?
Weekend. It looked like a first round weekend. There was some shocking skills on either side. No matter if you lost or won, there was some terrible football skills going on. It's that weird part of the season where the sun's still out, the games are hot, and there were some tired boys by the end of the games, and that was across all of the games. There were some very, very tired looking boys running around.
There were some tired-looking boys, and I tell you what, there was a few supporters who had, by the end of the game, had their fill and probably haven't paced themselves as well as they should have, because towards the last 10 minutes of the final quarter at the Melbourne Bulldogs game, there was quite a few gentlemen tripping over themselves and falling over their seats. So as the players sort of got back into the groove, the drinkers in the MCC, they needed to find their pacing as well.
How did you find the Wednesday night game, Peps?
Mate, it was awesome. Yeah, from a Wednesday night perspective, don't do it again.
Yeah.
From a grand final replay, loved it. Just to be at the home of football. The house that Robbie built. It was not Robbie Williams, Robbie Flower. It was just awesome to be at the footy. 58,000 I think they had there. It was a cracking crowd. Don't worry about what the numbers say. 70% of all Melbourne and Western Bulldogs members at the 20th of February this year turned up to the game, which had more members at the game than the one on Thursday night, which only had 47% of their members.
Tell you what, you guys managed to turn a 3-minute job into a 3-hour marathon. I reckon half your member base died waiting for that flag to be unfurled and put up the bloody the flagpole. That took forever.
And you know what? It took us forever to win one, so we're going to milk it for all it's worth. But it was beautiful. And you know what? The crowds were down. Public transport, Tori, Vicky, Williams, an absolute superstar, one of our Lace Outlaws, joins us every single week. Yes, she's right. The public transport to the game was a nightmare. The MCG car park wasn't even open. You couldn't even get a bag of chips. The chips were not even being cooked because of staff shortages. It was a nightmare. But I tell you what, when the ball was bounced, you forgot all about that and you just concentrated on watching the single greatest game ever created.
And personally, Tori, good to have you back on your feet.
Yes, it is. She is an absolute superstar. Going through some COVID stuff at the moment, like all of us have been. But you know what? That's why we love her. She's here every single week in the trenches, just following us, and our thoughts are with you. Hopefully, you get better soon. All right, J Dog. Let's get into it for the first time for season 2022. We're going to have a look at the ladder. And funny enough, there hasn't been much of a change from last year to this year. Okay, let's round it off. The top 8. Dad's Army, Geelong. Jeez, they were exciting. I don't know if it said more about Geelong or how putrid Essendon was. And I reckon it could have been a little bit of option A and a little bit of option B. But with the guys that I was with camping on the weekend, trust me, there was a lot more in the Essendon bucket saying how putrid they were.
Yeah, Essendon was shit. Let's call a spade, Peps. Essendon was shit.
Essendon was shit. Okay, Melbourne in the top 4, so that doesn't really change much from last year. The Hawks under Mitchie. That wasn't actually a bad game watching that with North. I just think North went in a bit too heavy.
Yep.
We picked it last week. The Gold Coast Suns would beat West Coast, and I've got something to talk about when it gets to that, Mob, because someone was back to his best in that game. And I tell you what, if that didn't give you a bit of Chubbs Farquhar, nothing will. Hold on. The Voss, they're back. We can finally smell what they're cooking. The beautiful green shoots have sprouted into a blossoming lawn. Carlton are into the 8. Sydney Swans just did their business. Collingwood and Brisbane making up the top 8. Even Fremantle, the way that they won that game on the weekend, what an absolute save against Adelaide. They didn't disgrace themselves. Your mob, Port Adelaide, you thought they were going to go down by 100, but they were pretty respectable, just got blown away in the last quarter. Yep. Shit Kilda, they didn't do anything. GWS, not much. Richmond, or as Carlton supporters now call them, Bitchmond. Wet Toast, they're down there. Not the Malabon, Western Bulldogs and Essendon. So massive gap. Like I said, there's only one win or 4 points from 18th all the way up to 10th. Anyone can make the 8 at this stage.
Crazy.
And anyone can fight. It's a cracker of a season. This is why we love it's such a tight season so far. There's only one game that separates top from bottom, and that's the type of season that we're looking for.
Oh, very good, very good. Peps, a couple of things in here. Whenever I watch GWS now, it just there's nothing on that field. There's no spirit. There's nothing. And even watching the games, I feel nothing towards GWS like I used to. The big sound. Nothing anymore.
I love the big sound, but they ain't no big sound on the big oval ground.
It's
they might be called they might as well not Giants anymore. They're the Greater Western Sydney Munchkins.
Yep.
The Oompa Loompa Football Club. They were putrid. Almost as bad as that coffee cup that you're drinking out of right now. Yeah, there's no spirit with GWS. There's no Toby, no GWS. Simple as that, I would say. Great man.
Yep. Hey, Justin, jumping on the chat.
Oh, Parko's back as well too. Thank goodness he didn't give any race tips on the weekend. We could have been doing this by tin cans and rope. All right.
Cool. All right.
Okay, now it's time for you want to go and spin the magnets?
Yep.
Let's go spin the magnets. Alrighty. So for anybody who doesn't know, spinning the magnets is what we get into every week. And it's what the coaches do when they've got to try and funk it up a little bit. For the people that haven't played the game, I never got my magnet spun because they always put me where it was most dangerous. And Jamie never got his magnet spun because he never played because he is a soft cock. But really, we've got two parts to this. We've got 3 votes, and 3 votes is a little bit sounding like this.
Lastly, after 57
No.
years of pain, it's coming home.
That was 3 votes at the end of grand final day, I will say, J-Dog. We still can't get it right 5 years in, can we? All right.
3 votes.
That's 3 votes. Andrew Demetrio giving us
3 votes.
And then we've also got Who's Getting Dragged. And to bring us back, the great man is here. We've got Rumbarassi circa early 1980s.
Haley off, Ellingworth on. Bloody weakest.
So we're going to talk about the good and the bad from the weekend. Would you like me to start this one off, J-Dog?
Go for it, Peps.
All right. The first one I have to go to, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier when it comes to
3 votes.
is the great man from the Gold Coast Suns, Matt Rowell. He has got no tape on him. He's back to his first couple of games. Remember when he polled 3 best on grounds in his first 3 games?
I do.
Well, he's now got 4 best on grounds in his first 5 games. He was sensational. He's just a man mountain. He's back to his 33 posies the bloke had. And to top it off on top of that, he got Willie Rioli'd. Now, if that was anybody else from Port Adelaide, they'd be out for 6 weeks.
If it was Clayton Oliver, Jesus,
If it was
it'd be out
Clayton
for a
Oliver,
year.
no, but the Redheads, they stick together. He was bang up like a flush, and it was just awesome to see. He took the game by the scruff of the neck and showed the wet toast. This is what Redheads could do. He was in and under. He was outside. He was inside. Oh, he was like a 2-year-old kid with a bag full of raspberry lollies. He was just running around everywhere. It was awesome to see.
Yeah. Agreed. The last 2 years with the injuries and all those sorts of things, the tears, we're seeing that stuff. It's good to have the number 1 pick just come out and dominate football like he is at such a young age, and it's awesome to see him back.
And can I go another bit? Can I give another?
3 votes.
Yeah.
I'm going to give another 3 votes
Yeah.
to the kids. Like, how good was it to see first game players come out and just dominate from round 1? Like, it just got me going. Like, I'm going to throw some names out here. Josh Shelley from Adelaide kicks a bag of 5. You've got Nick Dacos. Like,
Yep.
first game, like, he's got the Dacos name behind him. He's got his brother on his field. He's got the
Yeah.
Macedonian Marvel in the stands, and he comes out and just dominates as well too. Jack Hayes from the Saints. Who saw this coming?
No.
Just killed it in the Sandful for a few years. Finally gets his chance and was St Kilda's best player. Kept them in the game at one particular stage. It was,
Probably the cheapest as well.
and you were talking about number 1s. What about JHF, Jason Horn-Francis?
Took some strong mark.
He reminds me of an under 18 kid playing under 10s.
Yeah.
Like, he's just got a body that an 18-year-old shouldn't have.
Yeah.
You haven't even got that body at close to 40.
No, I
let
haven't.
alone
You're right.
8. He's a man mountain. He is going to be a gun. And I think he wears number 6, so that just adds a little bit more to it as well too. But it was absolutely unbelievable. And I'm going to get to one other guy very, very shortly. He's coming in on the chat thick and fast, and I'm not going to mention him just at the moment because he's going to be getting his own little special part.
Well,
later
I was
on. But
going
just
to
to see
say,
so many freshies coming in and just having a crack around 1. I don't think I've seen it like that for quite a while.
not the breadth of how many there were. Yes. What about Willie? Willie's back again. That was good to see Willie Rioli back.
Willie
after a
Rioli?
couple of seasons.
Calm
Yeah.
down. No way.
No.
Get over it. No.
You don't like him back,
Doesn't do anything for me.
doesn't he? Doesn't
No.
excite you?
No, it doesn't excite me. He's a thug.
He's
Tries to take out people. He tries to take out people with his hip. You know, that's
Hey.
going to be part of my getting dragged in a moment when we get to the tribunal.
Well, I
Oh,
was excited to have the Willie machine back after so
Oh, yeah?
many years. He's back.
You would have thought one bottle of Gatorade would have got him in so much trouble.
No. Just avoid yellow Gatorade. Stick to the blue
You would have
Powerade.
thought- Do you reckon the first sign of him tampering his urine sample was when he passed over the little cup and it looked like Arctic blue rather than yellow? There might have been something that was a giveaway, but he's back. He's jumping around. He's got a bit of funk, and my God, they need as much as they possibly can over there at
Yep.
Port Adelaide.
Port Adelaide,
Sorry,
West Coast.
Adelaide. West Coast, because they're shocking. They're putrid. But Darling will be back this week. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens there.
He's made his rules. Has he got the rules? He's done all the AFL things he has to do.
Yep, he has to do everything he has to do, and yeah, exactly right. Hey, what about you, mate? What was your sort of big takeouts? Your 3 votes,
3 votes.
for the weekend?
Well, I don't really have a lot of 3 votes because I must say, like, I was just happy football was back. But probably my big thing, I was probably a bit selfish here, Peps. I mean, Melbourne, I continue to do what they do. You had Big Gorney up there. There's a little bit, just Melbourne-esque. Obviously premierships aren't given away. in the early part of the season.
Don't win
It was very good.
premierships in March, but
It was
sets you
very
up
good
for
to see
success.
Gorney, very good to see Petrarca, and obviously Clayton Oliver just diving flopping around like no one's business. So that was good to see. Like Adelaide, I mean, Melbourne haven't changed. Lever across the back line doing his thing, so that's
Didn't
always
play,
nice.
so you didn't watch the game, did you?
No, I didn't watch it. No, I watched half of it. I got bored. Peps, I got bored with the game. I got bored. And then I turned back on, and all of a sudden Beveridge is blowing up at Tom. And
Oh.
I can't, we'll talk about that later. Don't want to go too much into that just now. But then Bucks is on there, and I'm going, oh, God, Christ. Bucks is talking about he was shocked, and Gary was shocked, and they're all shocked. Bit of drama round one, Peps. I like a bit of drama on the round one.
I know, it was good. Like, even
Bit
like
testy. People were testy.
Oh, it was a bit testy. I think there might have been something, between Tom and Bevo. And I'll tell you what, if I had to put Bevo and Tom Morris in a ring, I don't reckon that would last more than 10 seconds. Bevo's mustache just on his face would scare Tom Morris into tapping out.
Round one was just a testy time. Coaches, players, bit of everything going on, Peps. And
I think also, though, I must admit, one other thing that makes me laugh is,
what's that?
I went past the shops and there's already Carlton supporters queuing up for grand final tickets.
Wow. They broke the hoodoo, Peps. That's in my top three. They broke the hoodoo.
They broke the hoodoo. It's like the season. Hello, here we go. All these people that you never heard back for Carlton. Oh, my God, we're back. Look at us. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. If I had to hear that one more time. Everyone who called any of the sports channels on the next day started off with this. Da, 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 da. Hello, insert name. How good is it to see the Blues back? Da, da, da. Oh, for God's sake. It was... You almost got as sick of the song as a big sound during that 2019 grand final.
It is the AFL's worst song, and I'm coming from a position of authority, being a Port Adelaide supporter.
Yours is pretty shit, though. Let's be honest.
No. Carlton's is worse. Carlton's is the most depressing winning song I've ever heard.
Oh, we wanna put you to sleep. It's like euthanasia. That song. That's what they. If they ever brought in. Not corporal punishment, but the ability to kill people.
That's the way you do it. Play that.
And like we don't have the gas chamber. We just strap you into a chair and constantly play the Carlton theme song to you.
It's almost like
that would kill anybody in 5 minutes or less.
It's almost like they need to chuck in there like a bit of navy and blue, like just something to get it going.
Oh, they just need. Maybe it's because there's a lot of old Italian people who are on their last legs, and it's just a nice song as before they
like the Zorba dance.
Yeah. Before they go to sleep for the final time. Unbelievable. But yeah, they were good. They were good on Thursday night, the Blues. Good to see. And they've only got Walsh to come back. They lose Chera, they're getting Walsh. They're going to got a pretty strong midfield as well, too. And I thought they would have been in some trouble with Liam Jones leaving, but having Wiedering back there and McGovern finally maybe having his spot there.
Yeah.
There's definitely something. Carlton.
What was it, a 36-point turnaround from the third quarter?
Yeah, it was enough. And even that last quarter, Richmond, I don't know, once again, it was a little bit like the Saturday game with Essendon and Geelong. Did it say more about Carlton or did it say more about how bad Richmond are going at the moment?
I just think Essendon. I think Richmond just took their foot off the accelerator way too early and bang, 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 goal.
Yep.
Carlton in front. And they just
How bad
did
Cochin look? Cochin, he was slow.
Well,
he should have pulled
the bad news for them as well. You got Presti is also now going to miss a few weeks, which is there.
Again.
Yep.
The meatball's out again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
and I saw him go down. Do you know where I saw him go down, J Dog?
Who's that? Where's that?
Did I tell you where I saw the meatball when he went down on Thursday night? Where it happened?
No, come on.
Right in front of me. Right in front of me.
Oh, unbelievable, the meatball. Can I also give 3 votes? Another one. Parko, you have brought the milkshakes to the yard tonight. Sam Doherty coming back. Was there a bigger smile on any football supporter, football lover, football aficionado when Sam Doherty slotted that beast from 50?
Yeah, definitely.
That is why our game is so awesome. Absolutely awesome. And it was just amazing. Second bout, he's been able to nail it. He comes back almost burst on ground as well. He was a beast. Like, talk about the barometer for that team. I know Cripps is captain, but Geez, I tell you what, I almost wanted to jump through the screen and hug him. That's how. That's what I love about our great game, mate. Football clubs, when your back's against the wall, football clubs are always going to be there for you. Always going to be there for you.
And also to add more insult to injury, Jack is also out as well.
Jack who? Rewalt?
Jack Rewalt's out with a broken
He hasn't
thumb.
done anything for a couple of years anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so a bit of a dirty night for the Tigers. They lost their sort of mantle hold over Carlton of the season opener, or what had been before this year. So too early to say where to from here, but definitely there were some signs of the midfield starting to slow down a bit. Carlton really got on top of the clearances, and it's a little bit exciting. It's a little bit exciting for the Carlton fans.
Isn't it nice to see a bit of freshness in the ladder? Well, the top of the ladder won't change all that much, but that 5 to 8 region, there'll be a bit of change through there. It's going to be exciting. Yep. Can they sustain it? I don't know.
All right, so we're going to the Drags, Peps. We're going to look at the Dragons.
Oh, my goodness. Where do we start here? First and foremost.
Haley off, Ellingworth on. Bloody wicked.
All right. Essendon. What did you serve up on the weekend? Like I said, I was away camping with the boys on the weekend, and they were so excited at around about 2:10 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. And by about 2:40, they were like, we're going back to the pool. And I'm talking about the swimming one there, the swimming pool, because they were putrid. Geelong, they were exciting. Dad's Army, my goodness, it's like we went back to 1940. And when they all played their first season of football together. It was unbelievable the way that they were just singing around the park. This is not like Geelong that we know. Chip it back, chip it back, chip it back. But Essendon,
Peps, I always
and they
say...
were almost a full strength too. That's the disgusting thing about what they served up.
Peps, I always say you leave the game, you pick up the game where you left the last game. And silver lining to every loss that Essendon has, because let's face it, it's been a pretty lean period for them.
Lean?
Peter Wright kicked the last goal of the game, so maybe that's an omen for this week. Continue that form. I mean, it was a 10-goal loss, 11-goal loss, but you got to find silver linings, Peps.
Oh.
You're always so negative, Peps. Over just 5 years of this, you're just so negative all the time, and I'm just trying
I'm
to
not
find
negative.
some silver
I'm
linings.
a realist, mate. This is what we love about this.
You've
Hey,
got to
by the
put
way,
your
do you know what
coach's
the
hat on.
postcode is? We went down to Lake Epilock. Do you know what the postcode for Lake Epilock is?
It's just down the road from where I grew up.
Yeah, 6204. Which happens to be the same number of days since Essendon won a final.
Oh, poor Essendon. So
let's hear it.
What he's looking for, freed from desire, mind and senses
They won't be singing this during finals time for quite a long time.
mind and senses purified.
Free
11
from
goal
a
loss,
victory. Free from a victory.
11 goals. That's a respectable first round loss.
They got pantsed. And you know what? Can I... No. I'll hold off. Yes. What'd they kick? How many goals did they kick for the game? It was 11, wasn't it?
11 goals for the game. Yeah.
Yep.
11
goals for the game.
Yep.
And 5 of those were kicked by a guy who wasn't even on their list 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Good recruiting, Peps, is the silver lining to that one.
Good recruiting.
And it could have got worse. Like, let's not joke. Let's not joke about this. Like, Geelong kicked 2018. Like, it could have been easily a hunch. Easily.
At one stage, it was looking hungy. I even turned to the boys and they go, is this going to be a hungery? And they just said, it doesn't really matter at this particular moment in time whether it's 60 or a hungy. It's still bad. Yeah, they were shocking. You know, also, it's a bit of a... It's funny, though. You have a look at the ladder and who's towards the bottom. The Doggies were towards the bottom, but they were in front by almost 4 goals at one stage during the game against the D's.
Yep.
So it just shows that I think it was like a 24-point margin, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And they were second. So the games are actually quite close, a lot of them.
Yep.
There wasn't many blowouts except for the Geelong game. Even
Yes.
the North Melbourne Hawthorn game, that was actually quite good standard-wise for a first game. Like, you wouldn't say that often about a Hawthorn North Melbourne game, but
Yeah.
it was actually quite good. Unfortunately, just North went in way too top-heavy, and when Hawthorn streamed down the other end of the ground, they just didn't have the manpower to stop them. So
Yep.
they probably have to think about that for this week as well too. The Fremantle-Adelaide game, wow. That was an absolute corker as well. The save, the golden fist was already won at the end of that game. What an absolute save too. So there wasn't really many.
Can I talk
drags.
about one? I can talk about
Yeah.
one drag moment, Peps. I sort of buried the lead earlier.
Please mention it. Please mention it.
I'm not going to mention the one you're going to talk about in a second, but I'm going to talk about. I buried the lead. So the Giants. Like I'm just checking. Giants, are you home? There's a whole other quarter to play in football. There's 4 quarters, and they literally they scored 3 goals in a half a game of football, and Sydney just went bang. And if you watch the worm, I love the worm. It just goes like peak, 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 and then zoom, drop.
Yep.
Incredible. Like they just are completely devoid of whatever a football club needs to run. Whatever Melbourne's got, can they just invest some of that into the GWS bank? Because they're just completely devoid of any passion or emotion, or when the game starts slipping, there's no one that stands up at that club.
The problem is the passion wasn't playing. The passion got 6 weeks for touching an umpire.
Mm-hmm.
When Toby Green doesn't play, there's no passion in that mob at all.
It's just
Their culture's screwed. I'm sorry, their culture is screwed. And I don't know what they're going to do to get it right.
Cameron's
Absolutely
last
no
year.
idea.
Yeah, Cameron's last year.
Has to be. Has to be.
Oof.
You know, they talk about Clarkson going up to Gold Coast. He might be having a look at GWS. GWS are not that much better. They've got more talent on their list, established talent, and they've had less stripped away from them than Gold Coast. But if I had to put both teams up against it this year, what Gold Coast delivered, even though it was against West Coast, and what GWS put up, I'd take Gold Coast any day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good. I will have to mention also Collingwood, bit of a new different style as well.
Ooh, yes.
As well.
Mason's goggles. Peps, don't be a hater.
I'm not a hater, Peps. But only in America, only a 6'11" wanker from the States could carry that off.
Peps, it's to help him play better. Why can't you just accept it, Peps, for what it is? He needs to see the game, the ball.
All right, it's just not. But you know what? Then he has these things on his arms. Have you seen those little sweatbandy things he has on his arms? And then it just takes all the credibility away. That just has wanker written all over it. I'm sorry. You tell me what they're for, but that's just got wanker written all over it. And I'm sorry. Yeah. So the only other thing that I have to say, which would be getting dragged, was just some of the umpiring decisions once again coming out of it.
50s.
I saw the 50s were pretty good, but I did see a couple of 360, 720s on the weekend, and it wasn't paid. And I was like, hold on, weren't you going to stop that? I don't know. I have no idea. Parko, how did they? He can't wear contacts because of his eyes, because of what's happened to his eye. He can't wear contacts. Parko just asked why he can't wear them. He has to wear glasses.
Peps, can you solve this? And maybe the listeners out there can also solve it for me. When I was growing up, when I was a Carlton supporter, when I was a young boy, my dad told me that the reason why Stephen Kernahan couldn't kick well at night time is because the contacts copped the glare off the lights in his contacts, so he couldn't see the goals. But during the daytime, he could mark the ball perfectly and see the goals perfectly. Is that a real story, or have I just been told one of those like the rabbits and the Great China Wall stories?
The Emperor Nazi Goring.
Yeah, keep the rabbits out.
I don't know, listeners. If you can answer that on our Facebook
Is that true?
page,
Is that a true thing?
Do contacts give you? That's the listener question for this week, Jamie. Do contact lenses give you glare? You're putting that one up tonight?
As a Carlton fan, Kernahan was terrible at nighttime games, but an absolute dead eye during the daytime games. And I thought that
was the reason he lost that game. And it was a tie against Essendon. He kicked it on the foot because the glare from the sun coming off.
From the contacts, the glare from the light onto the contacts.
The glare off Mil Hannah's forehead.
No, Mil Hannah would do. Mil Hannah he's a sensational cooter.
All right, let's get into the news of the round. And once again, there's not a lot of news to sort of get around, but there's probably a couple of things that have. So we're going around the grounds with our newsman. He's the man we know as Jamie the G-Dog Wallace. He's the news hound. He's got the news of the week. Jamie, what have you got for us around the ground?
let's just go at the top. It's because of what we do. We have to talk about it. They roll into each other. It's sort of just like one of those stories.
Oh, it's like looking into a mirror.
Oh, hey Jazz. So we've obviously got the Bevo explosion going off at Tom Morris for reporting that the team list was leaked a little earlier, and Bevo in the press conference post game, obviously a little bit fired up about the loss, but had a massive crack at Tom Morris, calling him a muckraker and a disgrace to the media, a disgrace to himself, telling him to leave the press box area. It was quite personal, and all because Tom Morris just reported that there was an out, not dropped for disciplinary. Who was the player again? Tom Jack.
Hunter.
Sorry, Lockie Hunter. Not because of disciplinary reasons. It's just he was dropped purely on just being dropped. And he got in such a little hissy fit about it at the press conference. But then, as you think that story's finished, so the next day, journalists come on. We've got Caro asking for a 6-figure fine because bringing the game into disrepute with such a comment against the media journalist. You had all the news outlets talking about it. Bevo went on and recorded one of those fake apology videos during the Western Bulldogs.
I don't think it was fake. I don't think it was fake. I've watched it.
Peps, he was reading the screen like this.
Yeah, he had to read what he was going to say, but I think there was a bit of.
It's like me in a Zoom. It's like me in a Zoom meeting. I'm just looking at the people, not actually looking at what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I think there was a bit of merit in his. You could see there was a bit of merit in his face and a bit of eyes.
I don't know.
Eyes as well. So, I think he seems like the type of guy that would.
Had the Tex Walker sort of sorry feels.
Oh no, that Tex Walker one was a shocker.
All right. So then, literally 20 hours later, 24 hours later, no, 20 hours later, then the WhatsApp gets circulated around the media news, and all of a sudden, Tom Morris has gone on record and a voice recording in a private WhatsApp message between his mates, working with his mates. Maybe mates is a loose term to use if they're recording their own iPhones and sharing messages and sending those things around. But anyway,
J-Dog.
About him, basically him outing someone in the media and calling her all sorts of things, and it had that about it.
It had a bit of Benny, didn't it? It had a bit of Benny.
So, as you can imagine, Fox pretty much sacked him within 30 minutes. That decision was made, and the world just was in stunned. Like, not the world, Australia, footy fans were stunned. That's all come out, and Tom's come out and said an apology and all those sorts of things. The reporter, which I will not talk about on this show, has come out and said that's not the way that she would have liked to have come out in the world. But let's just see what happens from there. But what a way to blow up your media career, and what a 24 hours.
It was funny. It was interesting. Like we're getting stuff in here. Jared Hodgetts, welcome outlaw. The Ruboy outlaw. How did it get leaked? We're having a chat about this on the weekend, and I don't know how it got leaked. And we were saying it's a dog act by mates for letting it leak. But you tend to think it might have been that he sent it to one of his mates, and then his mate has sent it to somebody, and that person, so a third party. But I don't know, Jamie. I know in the industry that we work in, we've got to be really conscious about what we say. We're not talking about the podcasting, but what we do as professionals.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be so careful in everything that you say. And when you were saying this, as soon as it goes to another party, it's out of control. It's out of your existence, and it can go anywhere. And you know that they say that the social media world is not the real world. It just goes to show that, like that, your career could be over. And especially when you see what happened the night before, you start to think, did he know something about that? Did Beveridge know something about that? Or it just happened to be a coincidence. But that's just way to blow up your career in 24 hours.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, one of the unfortunate things about the boys' club of the AFL, like look at Wayne Carey, his track record is not fantastic, and he's welcomed with open arms, and I'm sure Tom will have some time away and will probably get picked up again as a reporter. But yeah.
Not on our show. We have standards.
It's just a really shit situation. Tom shouldn't have said those things about anyone. That's really, really poor. Talking about your colleagues like that, talking about anyone like that. But
If I'm going to talk about you like that, Jamie, I'll do it to your face.
exactly right, Peps. But also, Tom has shitmates as well.
That's shitmates. But that's the way. Unfortunately, it is.
Yeah. So he said his thing. Bevo has apologised. I don't know if there's a fine. Whether there was a fine with Bevo for saying what he said about Tom Morris, or been swept under the rug quick.
20 grand. There wasn't a
20?
fine, but the Bulldogs are donating 20 grand to some charity of some sort. So
yeah,
self-imposed, because you really couldn't. What could you fine him about? He wasn't bagging out anybody. He had a shot at a reporter. What are they going to fine him for?
Yeah.
So he wasn't bagging out the league; he was bagging out somebody else. So yeah, they donated something from that perspective, but outside of that, it was pretty average. J-Dog.
Yes.
What's the next one?
Okay, so we've got some tribunal errors again. So we're probably going to be talking about the two. Peps, you want to talk about the two that have come up for review, or you want to talk just the whole general vibe of the tribunal? Because Peps, I cannot do this for for another year of this. Peps, you get so angry at tribunal. I'll let you have your say.
All right. Can I just look, J-Dog? If it goes to tribunal, it goes to tribunal. I get that. All right. Mm-hmm. First of all, Nick Cox. No, was it Cox? The big dopey ruck, Sam Draper.
Yeah.
Throws a round arm, gets a fine. That's a week any day of the year. How are you supposed to stomp it out, right? It's a fine. Then you have three others that go up. You got Rory Sloane for an attempted eye gouge. That's what they were thinking it was about. Contact to the eye.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Willie Rioli with a collision against Matt. You can't break me. His nickname is the Hilux because he's unbreakable. And you've then got Mitch Robinson. Now, we're a big fan of Mitch because we love the way he plays his game. But he basically braced himself for contact.
He went in low.
You're allowed to go in low.
Yeah, but
you're allowed
at the head. You're not allowed to bump for the head. You're not allowed to turn and go for that area.
He didn't get him in the head. He got him in the shoulder.
Still can't do it.
You can't. Jamie, shut up. This is why you don't like it, because I'll fight back at you. But how does Willie Rioli get off for what he did? Like, he jumped into him, and they're saying, you know what it is? Because he didn't come out with a concussion. If he had a concussion, he would have got weeks. But once again, the AFL, it's all about the outcome, not the intent. Rory Sloane, okay, got that one off, and I agree with that one wholeheartedly. But Mitch Robinson, nobody has told me what Mitch Robinson could do. What else could he have done to and you want to talk about players going down like a wet rag?
Hayden Oliver.
Xavier Dersma. My God,
Xavier Dersma had his head over the ball, and
he
Mitch
didn't even
Robinson
get hit in the head. He copped
his shoulder.
You're allowed to, mate, Jamie. You're allowed to drop your shoulder. You're allowed to. So let's just. I know it's only round one, and we've got a lot of time for this, and I know you're firing me up here, and everybody loves it. But what else could Robinson have done?
You don't.
If you can give me an
turn
answer,
your
what else?
body for a hip and shoulder. You let the player run into you.
Oh, so front on contact.
You can't do it.
So basically, he can stand
for a shoulder. You're not allowed to do that. We know that rule, Peps.
But he didn't turn. He didn't turn.
Okay,
he just braced. He braced. You're allowed to brace.
Now you're saying it's based on just purely the injury. If he snapped his neck, that's weeks. But if he hits him in the collarbone for the exact same action, we're fine with that. Yeah,
I'm fine with that. He didn't hit him in the head. It's a contact sport. Jamie.
Precedent.
Okay, so all right. So if he, let's just say a player goes up for a mark, knees a player in the thigh, that turns into a corky, and he misses 3 weeks. Is that?
But the AFL have said you cannot. If a player's there, you cannot turn and hit them with that part of your body.
Okay.
Contact on that part of the body.
Jamie, he was literally standing still when this happened. He was in the same spot. Dersma ran into him.
Yeah, so just don't twist your body into them.
Jamie, you've got the right to protect yourself as well. You have the
turned
right
to hip and shoulder.
Jamie, he went to brace for the bump. You're allowed, and he didn't get him in the head, which is sacrosanct. So this is what I don't understand. It was a perfect bump. The guy got injured. That's what you get for being a Port Adelaide softie.
No, we all know it. You
No.
Peps, I know you know it. I know you know it.
No, I don't know, Jamie. I don't agree with it. He didn't hit him in the head. It wasn't a dirty act. He didn't line him up. He just braced for contact. He got him in a weak part of the body, and he's gone down. That's
like
that's a
we need to go in
sport.
We need to go and have a review, like a 5-minute review. We can both watch the incident again and then come
What's
back.
the point? You're still going to say your stupid argument, and I'm going to still give my positive argument. Where we're here 10 minutes later. It's just
so
not
funny.
right, mate. It's not right.
I'm pro Robinson getting a suspension.
No.
You need to stop that action.
Which action was worse? The Rioli one or what Mitch Robinson did? Take out the injury. Which action, if you put them both side by side, which is worse? Where a guy jumps off the ground and turns to hit a guy high? Or
that's the argument. The AFL believed that he was going for the ball.
No, Jamie. He was nowhere near that mark. They fucking frustrate me every freaking year, this mob. Mate, I keep saying it. Common sense is like deodorant. The ones who need it most never use it.
Are you saying about the AFL?
Oh, both of you. You're just as bad as each other. All right.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on.
There's one other news of the week, and it's not football related, and it happened today.
Oh, yes, go for it, Peps.
Ash Barty.
Oh, Devo.
I don't. It was like totally out of the blue. Like, where did it come from? Mm-hmm. They reckon the signs were there. She won Wimbledon. That was her goal. She won the Australian Open. She's finished on top.
Good on her.
What more can you say? Like,
go and do something else.
I've got kids. You've got kids. Mm-hmm. Mine are at the age they understand sport, and I say to my daughter, because she watches sport with me, and even Noah to a degree, I go, kids, that's how you handle yourself. Yeah, that is just that's class. She's just class, and she's just an Aussie who loves her sport. She loves a beer, and she just treats people as an equal. That's the impression I get from her. And if she's going out like that, it's a shame because you're a bloody good representation for this country, and you're going to be sorely missed. And I hope that she plays for GWS and gives them some spirit.
Yeah. Well, one day we might see her back, Pep. She may return. She's still young. She may return.
She's only 25. Yeah, definitely.
She may, after a couple of years, whatever she's doing with her life, decide I want to come back like she did with tennis.
Why not?
Play cricket, and then come back.
Why not? Hey, J-Dog, guess what? We have our Rising Star.
We do.
How good was this? This guy's come completely out of he was brought up earlier on, came in on the chat. I couldn't say it because we were going to go to this guy, but
we were.
Nick Martin, it was just, you watch that game and he kicks a couple and like, who's this kid? But then it was just like, how many more? And it was another and another and another. He's ended up with 27 touches, 10 marks. Mm-hmm. He's kicked 5. They've kicked 11 in total. Like, it was just an awesome showing. And I know they're talking about, what about Josh Rochelle and Horn Francis and all these other guys, Hayes, what's his name? Jack Hayes from the Saints. No. He's too old, so he can't get it. But this kid kicks 5 in a team that was getting pantsed from a midfield that was doing absolutely nothing. Like, he was not even on their list 3 weeks ago.
No.
That's even the most shocking part about it, is that he was part of the SSP. They brought him on. Good on him. And he wears zinc cream too. Like, there's a fella who knows his place in society. Good on you, young fella. Look, hey, will he win it? Probably not. But there's probably a lot of Essendon people that could maybe have a look at what that kid did, take a leaf out of his very, very small but professional book.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, missed the didn't get picked up in the 2019 draft and went away for 2 years and just focused on playing footy and had an opportunity through the SPV and kick 5 goals, win a Rising Star nomination.
And he's going to be able to go and put on a suit and go to a fancy dinner at the end of the season. Good on you, young fella. He might not get to the Brownlow, but he is going to an AFL event, and you know anything can happen at those AFL events.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, big fella.
Well, I just want to say just a final thing. There is a connection there because I think Port Adelaide also take a fair credit from this as well because he used to play alongside Mitch Georgiadis over there in Subiaco. So I just want to Port Adelaide once again influencing the league to such the level of degree they do.
Yep. And did Georgiades play on the weekend?
Yep. Yeah, he did. Yeah. It's quite a game.
We had a quiet game. So basically, you've decided to keep the person who had the quiet game and not even pick the guy up who's going to be a gun. Yeah, good work. And your ski double up's going to be out for a number of weeks as well too. Unfortunately, good old Aaliyah.
We've got a half our back line out now. This is going to be good.
We only had 5 out last week, and we still beat the runners up. So double Cobras to the Ds. Hey, guess what it's time for, J-Dog?
What's up?
It is time for a bit of...
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Here comes the money, because we've had a couple of massive contracts come in over the last couple of days. So, the big one, Jack McRae, 5 extra years at the Dogs.
Huge.
Keeping him at the kennel for another 5 years. So I think it's to the end of 2025.
Yep.
Or 6. Not a bad one. I would have probably shopped around a little bit. Probably a few other clubs on the rise. Dogs are probably on the slide at the moment after getting pants by the D's again. But good on him. He's made a massive contract. That's a big one. Good news to come out of the Doggies. They've got quite a few that have to sign up for the rest of the year. So it's going to be interesting as they flow through. But another one has signed up for the D's, Tom Sparrow, or Tom, I bang him in from 50 Sparrow. 2 more at the D's. They're just solidifying that grand final team. It's great to have him on board. Absolutely love that decision. He loves it at the D's. There was a bit of interest from the Adelaide clubs to try and bring him back, but he wanted to stay where the future is. And I'll tell you what, stay tuned, because if he keeps on the rise he's going, he's a future All-Australian, that bloke.
Yeah.
In my personal eyes, I reckon he's got something going too. So that's where the money is, splashing the cash style.
Well,
all right.
I know for Port Adelaide Peps, I know people are very interested in our Trinity.
Yep.
2 of them were locked away. So we locked away Zach Butters and Connor Rosie.
Well, hold on.
And Dan Houston.
Oh.
Mr. 55 metres himself. And we also locked away our first-round draft pick this year, Josh Sin, who decided to just sign up for another couple. On top of his
Good on you. Good on you, Port. Finally signing up average players and leaving other good players like Nick
Peps. There is a lot of young guys who have just come through the draft and are just signing some extensions. Like, we had Neil Eramis from Freo.
Yep.
Get a little extension on top of the contract signing that when he joined up. So we're starting to see, I think it's a bit of a trend we're starting to see now with some of these players, is quite quickly clubs are locking them away within their first year or so of being at the club, asking for an extra year or 2 on their extension, which I think is good, because it's a shame when you lose good talent like that after 2 or so years. So I'm all for it.
Okay, so I know the listener question is throwing it out there that wearing contact lenses, do you get affected by the glare at night time? That's the first question.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the second question is, do you think the first round of the draft should get a 3-year contract rather than 2?
Can you define first round with all these picks and academies and stuff like that?
Whoever your first pick in the draft is. Oh, well, whoever you pick up in the first round of the draft until everybody goes around once. Or do you just make a blanket, extend it from 2 years to 3 years?
Okay.
What do you
can look at that question. Yeah, I like the question. Can you lock away your young kids more? Yes.
Yeah. One last thing before we sort of move into into time on.
Mm-hmm.
The Joe Danaher contract situation.
Ooh.
Does that have a bit of pub test sniff about that?
What part are you not happy with that?
And I actually forgot too. Logan McDonald has also signed up as well. So a bit of splash
there. I think
as well. And yes. Oh, and can I also throw in another 3 votes? I forgot this one. how good was it to see Paddy McCartan back on the field after everything that bloke's gone through? Slots himself down back, happy, no mental scars, just absolutely gorgeous. Just gorgeous to see him on the ground, not gorgeous from a man perspective.
Yep. Oh, Buddy Peps. Sorry, Danaher and then Buddy. The Buddy situation. The 20-minute timeout. But talk about Danaher first.
Yeah, Danaher. Is there a bit of sniffness about this contract?
What element do you not like about it?
Well, they signed him up on a 3-year contract, right?
Yes.
And then that got Essendon a higher pick in the first draft because of the compensation rules.
Yes.
And then in the second year of the contract, they're going to give him another 2 years on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's now actually a 5-year contract rather than just a 3. Because if it was a 5-year contract, he would have got less money and the compensation wouldn't have been as much.
How does it work? Is it purely money or is it money and contract length?
Money, contract, and age.
Right.
And he was in that sweet spot.
Well, Brisbane are quite handy at going around the rules. Remember, they picked up a certain Luke, a premiership captain, Luke. Ringing a bell, Peps? No, not Luke Dalhouse.
Power?
Peps. No. Come on. Ex-Hawthorn captain.
Hodge.
Retired.
Yeah, he retired.
And then they got him out of retirement, so it circumnavigated all the trading and stuff like that. So Brisbane are quite crafty.
But he went there to help out.
They still didn't have to give anything up for him. They didn't have to change
He
some
wouldn't have
money.
got much for him anyway.
Clever, Brisbane, clever. I like it.
I think there's something sniffy about that.
All right. And what about the Buddy? The Buddy 20-minute halftime. The Buddy break.
Apparently there's going to be like a 20-minute break when Buddy kicks his 1,000th.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if it goes to half-time and he kicks it 1 minute after half-time and then you're having another 20-minute break?
I think they'll just roll it in there, wouldn't they? They wouldn't worry about that.
Just play with the people on the field.
20-minute feels excessive.
It's just the AFL.
Get on, rub his head, get off again.
Don't worry, it'll be if they have that 20 minutes, it'll give them enough time for Nathan Brown to give his sports bet update.
Also, Peps, why does the golf cart take so long to get a player off the field these days? When a player goes down injured and they have to get the stretcher out, it feels like it takes forever. It's a good 15-20-minute break. It just takes forever.
I don't know.
We've got golf carts. Get them off there.
I don't know, Jamie. If I had the answer, I'd give it to you.
Just annoying, Peps. They've got to open the gate. Why isn't the gate open already, dickheads? You already got out there. You know what's happening.
Get the
shit organised.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
His collarbones, calm down.
Wednesday night. I don't know.
I know. Wednesday night. Hey, last thing before we get it 1 week at a time. Let's have a look. What game are you looking forward to this week? Because it all starts tomorrow night on Thursday night. It's been a big week already. Doggies and the Blues.
Ugh. Pass. Let's go and have a look. Friday, Saturday. Ugh.
Is there much to think about this weekend? Bulldogs, Carlton. All right, let's go. Bulldogs, Carlton. Let's quickly do our tips. Bulldogs, Carlton. I'm going Carlton because Bailey Smith's not playing.
I'm going to go the Bulldogs to bounce back.
Okay. Friday, Sydney, Geelong.
That's be a good game.
SCG. That'll be a good one. That will be a good one.
Sydney for me.
Sydney? Yeah, I'm going Sydney as well too. I think they've got something going and they'll do anything to get Buddy his 4 goals as well. Dad's Army, once again, it's going to be after 7:50 p.m. As we know, older people like to go to bed early, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so they're not going to be cherry.
The cold weather hurts the joints.
Exactly right. Collingwood, Adelaide, Saturday, 1:45 p.m.
This is Collingwood.
Yep. Essendon, Brisbane, Saturday, 4:35 p.m.
Brisbane,
yep. Port Adelaide, Hawthorn, 26th of March, 7:40 p.m. Crikey, there's a lot of late games on this Saturday.
Yeah, this is going to be a Port Adelaide one for me.
Port, yep, I like that as well too. Gold Coast versus Melbourne, 8 p.m. Big Trevor Dana and the Love Machine are going up, and my sister-in-law and little Jackie boy are going up to watch this one.
Peps, you get an invite to the family?
No, I didn't get an invite. Mary and I didn't get one. But that's
That-
okay. I know he's
That
signed by
is
Brisbane.
rough.
Yep.
That is rough. All right. So for me, I'm going to go the Gold Coast Suns.
You're just doing that to piss me off.
No, no.
Melbourne
I'm
for
telling you
me.
what. Rail is going to towel up Oliver.
All right.
Oliver.
Awesome.
Rail will just run past Oliver, and Oliver will flop like, "I'm dead. I'm dead. Give me a 50." Throw his head back. He's such a sook.
North and Wet Toast Sunday.
Keep dogging around the back. Hey,
we get to the next game?
Petrarca, can you give me a handball, please? Give me a handball. Give me a handball. I can't get it myself.
Oh, just fucking dickhead. Yeah, it's going to be the Fanta Pants versus the Ginger Ninja. It's going to go off. North West Coast.
It actually might be a good game.
This will be the good game, I reckon. I reckon North have got this one.
Wet
North Toast don't travel.
And North just purely because it's at Marvel.
Yep. Richmond GWS. Whoever loses this, season's over.
Oh, you're calling it that early.
I'll tell you why. Because if you lose your first 2 games of the year, there's only a 10% chance that you can get back into the 8 at the end of the season.
Well, I'm going Richmond because Giants are just the most depressing team to watch in the AFL.
Oh, no, I think that's the next one. St Kilda and Fremantle in Freo. Here we go.
I'm going to go Freo on this one here.
And I'm going Freo as well too. Hey, big fella, what a cracking episode to start our first major review of round 1. So just a few things, everybody. We're going to be back 8 p.m. Tuesday nights every week. We just had one of the co-hosts with the most double booked himself last night because he actually forgot the footy was on.
Apologise. There was a committee meeting I had to be part of.
So we're back on Tuesday nights. Second of all,
I'm a VIP, Peps.
Pardon?
I'm a VIP.
You're very... Second of all, I dropped a interview with Tim Costello and the effect sports gambling is having on football as
The politician?
well.
The politician?
No, that's the brother. He was the He was the chief executive of World Vision for many, many years, and is now leading the push against anti-gambling advertising, and then the way it's taking over. Like I said, many, many people have heard this one before, but just in 2021, in the first 10 months of the year, 397 gambling ads people were exposed to per day. Out of control. So get onto that one. We'd love to hear your feedback. But more importantly, that's it. That's round. And be back next week. Get on the chat. Tell everybody about us. Leave a review for us on iTunes or Spotify, because you know what? The more people that get to know about us, the bigger this community gets. And if you like our the lace out shirt, stay tuned for more.
That's the old one.
Old school, new school. Exactly right. And Dusty Tycoon, Parko's Horses racing in Doomben on Saturday. Each way chance. But there's only one chance that we've got to say, and that's to you, J-Dog, and the Lace Outlaws out there. Big fella, how do you want your footy?
I like it. Lace out. Before I go, quickly, Sonny Bill versus Barry Hall tonight. If you've paid per view at like $60 a ticket, whatever it was.
Yep. Can you give us a streaming link? Have a great night, everybody. We're tight asses. We don't want to pay for it. We've got kids and we've got to buy nappies.
That's right. See you later,
Have
everyone.
a great week. Hope your team wins and go D's. The football is the winner.
Bye.